Gordon Neufeld is a very good friend of mine. He lives in Vancouver, Canada, where I do. And I have to confess that my work would be much poorer without his influence. I say this not because he's my friend, but because I honestly see this. He understands human development and the needs of children way beyond what anybody else in the world does. To me, in my mind, he's the most astute developmental psychologist in the world. And there's a book called Hold On to You Kids, which we wrote together, but actually it's his work. I just did the writing with him because he's brilliant, but he's not a writer. And so my wife finally said, call him and offer to write the book with him. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll call Gordon. Gordon, you won't help write the book? And he said, I thought you'd never call, you know. So we wrote the book together, but it's his work, it's his ideas. And in my new book, I quote him extensively because I can't turn to anybody to understand children and the needs of children as astutely as he does. Now, he once said, Gordon once said, he said, and he's also very poetic the way he speaks, and he said, we shall be saved in an ocean of tears. We shall be saved in an ocean of tears. And what he means by that is that when bad things happen to us, or when we don't get our needs met, we develop all kinds of ways of coping with that. Addictions, mental health conditions, rage, or the suppression of rage. And we do all this because we don't want to feel the grief. Now, scientifically speaking, there's a great neuroscientist who's from Estonia, actually, I think. He's no longer alive. I wish he was. He died in his 70s. But his name was Dr. Jaak Panksepp. And Jaak was a wonderful man. He distinguished 7 brain systems that we share with other mammals. There's one for caring, which is essential. Otherwise, if you don't care for children, we don't survive. One for lust. One for anger. One for play, which is really important in human development. Not just human development, but the development of all mammals. They all play. It's really important for brain development, which, by the way, we forget in the modern world. The importance of play, free play, in nature. So we have circuits in the brain for all this. We also have circuitry for grief. We have circuitry in our brain for grief. Why do we have circuitry in our brains for grief? Because life is full of loss. That's the nature of life. Not only loss, but also loss. At some point, if nature is moving in the way it needs to, we're going to lose our parents. Parents may lose their children. Partners may lose their lovers. Friends will lose their friends. All kinds of losses. Or maybe smaller losses, like other children don't want to play with me. Or my father is not available. These are losses. Now, the only way to move through it is to feel the sadness, to feel the grief. When we feel the grief, because grieving is all about something is lost, it's gone, and I accept that. That's what grief is. So Gordon says, we'll be saved in an ocean of tears. And what it means is, if we can grieve our losses, just to give one current example, and by the way, I don't explain the war in Ukraine just by the pathology of one particular man. I think it's much more complicated. But that is a traumatized man. I'm not saying this to excuse anything. I'm just saying that he was. And as Ivona pointed out this afternoon, so was Hitler, so was Stalin. By the way, so are a large number of leaders in the world, in all countries. I could talk to you about that, but I won't right now. If they had grieved, their loss, they would not be inflicting all this pain on the world. So that's what Gordon means, is that we've saved in an ocean of tears. If we grieve, we let go. If we deny our grief, we hold on. That holding on creates all kinds of dysfunction.